A recent interview with Sega shows that the company is trying to bring a return to form of console gaming prevalence. And hey yo, look out down below, here he comes Banana Slammer, cause E3 2021 is heating up with heavy rumors of a new Donkey Kong game coming to the Nintendo Switch. What's going on, guys? I'm RGT85. If this is your first time on the channel, yes, sometimes I sing terribly on here for your guys' entertainment. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, be sure to like and share the video, but without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. So there's a lot of companies I have a love-hate relationship with, and Sega has to be at like the top of that list. Like, I love Sega, do not get me wrong. If you know anything about me, you would know that I grew up a Sega kid. I love the Sega Genesis, I love the 32X. I mean, I even wrote a book about the 32X. If you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you guys check it out. Available on Amazon now. But the Sega Saturn's one of my favorite systems of all time. I love the Dreamcast. But Sega just as a company kind of sucks in 2021. And I know there's gonna be people that say, well, what about Atlas? There's lots of great Atlas games. I don't consider the whole Atlas thing to be a part of Sega. Atlas is sort of its own company, its own subsidiary, just owned by Sega. When I'm talking about Sega, I'm talking about things like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm talking about Virtua Fighter. I'm talking about Shining Force, House of the Dead, Daytona USA. Those classic Sega franchises I grew up playing either in the arcades or at home that have just dwindled over time. When you look at Sega's dominance in the video game landscape during the mid-90s to now, it's night and day. Sega definitely isn't the same company that they used to be. But Sega's chief strategy officer, Shuji Utsushima, who I'm probably butchering your name, I apologize, recently did an interview with Famitsu magazine, and there's some interesting quotes that I want to pick out from this interview. Basically, he said that some people feel that Sega hasn't released many new games for consoles compared to mobiles. We are currently in the middle of an organizational shift, and we are currently revising various lineups of titles. We'll gradually start from this point, then go more steadily next year and beyond. So I think that's interesting. We have seen some Sega IPs, of course, being done by Forever Entertainment, with games like Panzer Dragoon getting a remake, and of course now House of the Dead, which I'm very excited for. But these are just remakes of the original games that we have already played. Sure, House of the Dead, I think, looks absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to play that game. And of course, I loved Panzer, but I would still like to see new properties from Sega IPs done by Sega themselves. Like I said, Sega isn't the same company that they used to be 20, 25, 30 years ago. But that doesn't mean that the ideas still can't be there and that the franchises still aren't there. And I know what you're saying to yourself, well, what about Sonic? What about Sonic the Hedgehog? Like, he's probably still the biggest IP for Sega. Of course, the movie was very successful. It was definitely weird that there was no game to coincide alongside of the movie due to the success of the movie. I'm sure Sega's kind of kicking themselves in the ass about that. But in this interview, he also went on to say the following: a new Sonic game announcement might be coming soon. Now, many of us were expecting a new Sonic game to be announced in 2020 because of the whole celebration of Sonic the Hedgehog, but of course COVID came along and said, no, we're not celebrating Sonic this year. We will have to delay this process. Now, what would this Sonic game be? Obviously, Sonic games have been a bit of a mixed variety. We've heard things about Sonic Colors HD potentially getting a remaster and put out on new platforms, which Sonic Colors on the Wii was an absolutely fantastic game. I swear to God, they better not change that theme song though. That is like a pop punk banger. The colors seem so bright. Like, I love that song. I listen to that song low-key all the time. I think it's so good. But as far as like a new Sonic game, where do you sort of go? There's a lot of different ways you can go. Of course, Sonic Mania and Sonic Mania Plus were fantastic experiences. Some games like Sonic Forces, you know, definitely not so much. I would love to see a Sonic Adventure 3. I really feel like the Sonic Adventure name still has that high pedigree to where you can make a Sonic Adventure 3 and people would be excited about it just from the namesake alone, because a lot of Sonic games, you don't get that same sort of feeling anymore, especially when it's a new Sonic title. You have that sort of doubt and cloud in your mind initially when it's first announced, even if you just have a name, because of how Sonic has been handled over the years. Sonic Adventure 3 would be awesome in like a 3D environment. There's so much stuff you could do with it as well. Just kind of keep down the Sonic and human interactions. I always find that really weird, and things of that nature in the video games. In the movies, you know, it's kind of fine. You have to do something, but like in video games, I don't know, man. Like if I saw like a blue hedgehog trying to talk to me, I'd just like, I don't know, kick it in the face or something like that. But I'm definitely excited to see what Sega is doing. I think that we might get some of these announcements at E3 2021. Obviously, Sega has announced that they are going to be there. Many people thought it was going to be mostly Atlas focused, but after this interview, maybe there is some potential for some new Sega IPs or just revised IPs from Sega's back catalog of stuff, because that's what we really want to see. I still love Sega. I will always love Sega. They're just kind of like that family disappointment who I don't know, probably to some extent I'm that disappointment in my family, but hopefully Sega comes out guns blazing at E3 2021, but I'm definitely staying a bit reserved from it just because of past heartache with Sega. But of course, you can't really talk about E3 2021 without talking about Nintendo, because obviously Nintendo has a lot of stuff planned for the second half of 2021. Looking at their financial reports and their fiscal year reports, they're planning on selling 25 million Nintendo Switch systems, which is more than last year. Last year was only 20 million. So a lot of people are expecting a lot of software related things to be announced at E3 2021, especially with new games and things of that nature. Obviously, The Legend of Zelda is more than likely going to be a focal point for Nintendo, celebrating Skyward Sword HD coming out. A lot of people are expecting more stuff. Could we see Breath of the Wild 2 in a more complete stage? Is that game coming out in 2021? But now a new game has sort of entered the mix, and it's a game that I think a lot of people would be interested in, and that is a new Donkey Kong game. Now, when you look at Donkey Kong, like, he's one of the most underutilized Nintendo franchises I think ever. Like, he's right alongside of Samus and Metroid as far as series that don't really get enough games in them. We haven't seen a new Donkey Kong game since what? 2014. Now, yes, technically that game did re-release on the Nintendo Switch, but still, that was not a new game. That was just a game that was available on the Wii U that was ported over. As far as the new Donkey Kong goes, it's been quite a while, and I think this would be a franchise that a lot of people, and especially Nintendo Switch owners, would really be happy to see come back. Now, this information is coming to us from various different reports, and it was summarized by Nintendo Life. I will have a link to it in the description box down below. Basically, one YouTuber by the name of Lonely Goomba said that he heard an unlikely rumor that the Mario Odyssey team were working on a new 3D Donkey Kong game, and that he would prefer that to another 3D Mario game. Now, when it comes to 3D Donkey Kong games, we've only had one, and that was, of course, Donkey Kong on the N64, which I wasn't really a big fan of, but only because I played that game as an adult. I didn't have any sort of nostalgia for it, and I just felt like without that nostalgia visor on, you know, it just didn't look and play all that great compared to other N64 games, because it was really pushing the N64 to its limits. Now, this was then followed up by another person on the internet by the name of Zippo, who is someone that we've talked about before on this channel, saying it's the Big Ape's 40th anniversary, and while I'm not sure how Nintendo is celebrating the occasion, there is a new 2D Donkey Kong game being developed by EPD Tokyo. Retro is obviously busy with other things, so Nintendo has taken it upon themselves to bring Donkey Kong back as an internal series. Don't expect the country moniker to return, as EPD Tokyo are not interested in making a sequel to games that they didn't make. Diddy, Cranky, and Kremlin Crew should all be returning in this installment. It sounds like the game is launching before the end of the year, and E3 announcement seems very likely. And then Nintendo Life actually followed it up themselves, saying that they have heard this rumor as well, that a new Donkey Kong game was in development. They've heard this from an independent, trusted source beyond these two sources, but that it would be a 2.5D game. So is it a 2.5D game, or is it a 3D game that Donkey Kong will be having on the Nintendo Switch? Honestly, I think I would prefer to see a 3D Donkey Kong game, just because of the fact that I never really got to experience Donkey Kong 64 in all of its glory when it first released. Looking at it retrospectively, like I said, you know, it definitely has some little issues and problems that come along with just dated technology, and not having that sort of nostalgia for the game definitely clouds my visions on it. So I would love to see a big open world sort of Donkey Kong style game, because I think that would be awesome. When you look at Donkey Kong as a franchise, especially on everything since the Super Nintendo, it's always been a hardware pusher for Nintendo platforms. Look at the Country series on the Super Nintendo. Those are some of the best looking games on the platform. All the Donkey Kong games that came out on the Game Boy, once again, same thing. Donkey Kong 64, you had to have the expansion pack in order for it to be in all of its glory and things like that. Even Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, like, that's one of the best Wii U looking games that ever released, and it still looks great on the Switch. So I would be very excited to see a Donkey Kong. I don't think I would mind it being a 2.5D game or a 3D game, but just from a personal perspective, I would love to see a 3D Donkey Kong game, because I feel like there's more you can do with that. We've had so many 2D Donkey Kong games, and yes, they're always very tight. The level design is always awesome. There's always cool enemies and cool bosses and a great challenge as well. But I think a 3D Donkey Kong would really allow you to take the franchise in a more modern direction, you know, really spice things up, maybe give it that Breath of the Wild sort of moment that people would be expecting with a new Donkey Kong game. All I know is I'm definitely looking forward to E3 2021. I think a new Donkey Kong would be absolutely awesome, just because I want to see what these companies are doing with it. And the fact that EPD Tokyo is allegedly working on this game, and even if it was a 2 or 2.5D game, utilizing new ideas and not using the country moniker could really expand it as well. So what sort of Donkey Kong do you want to see? I think that's really one of the main questions going into this. Would you prefer a 2D, a 2.5D experience, experience, or would you prefer a 3D experience like Super Mario Odyssey? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to let me know what you think of everything, like I said, in the comment section down below. Is Sega coming back? Are we going to get some good Sega stuff, or is this just more PR talk and I'm going to be disappointed and drinking 40s of King Cobra to cure my depression? And of course, Donkey Kong. What do you want to see with this? Do you want to see a new Donkey Kong 2.5D or 3D? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Check out other videos on the channel. Yes, last night was definitely a tough game with the Knicks losing to the Lakers. We should have gotten that rebound. But you know what pisses me off? LeBron James. All right, why are you there at the end of regulation on that rebound that I can't remember what his name was, that got and put it back in, saying that there was a foul? You're not playing in this game. You're not a coach for this team. You are a player on the injured reserve. You decided not to play. You should not be on the court talking with the referees trying to say, oh, well, where's the foul? Where's the foul? Like, sit your ass down. Like, I can't stand LeBron sometimes. I really can't. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.